Hey guys, Valkrin here. I'm doing a quick rundown on my AP Cho'gath guide. My previous footage that I was recording was pretty much all ruined because I did not have LOL replay in borderless mode, so the HUD was flashing the entire time I was recording. So I'm going to have to redo this real quickly. In this matchup, I'm going AP Cho'gath versus Twisted Fate middle. Twisted Fate being a very standard AP mid, AP Cho'gath being not so standard but an excellent counter. My starting items are boots, 1 health potion, and a sight ward. And the reason why I don't start 3 health potions and instead starting a ward is because of Cho'gath's passive, which at level 1 it gives 35 health back and 3.5 mana back, and that scales with level. It's a very, very strong passive for the laning phase. It basically means you can ignore 1 auto attack for every minion kill you get. So every single time the AP mid auto attacks you, you can basically throw that out of the equation because you're probably going to get that last hit. The only problems come in when you get harassed down too low for you to go to the creep wave, and that's when you use that 1 health potion to even it up. So I put a ward here by their wraiths, and the reason why I put it by the wraiths is because this is the prime jungle gank location for the enemy jungler. He's going to be going doing wraiths and then red buff and then probably ganking my lane from this route. So putting the ward here is the best place to get the knowledge of when the jungler is ganking from this angle, and it also helps your team out a lot because they know where the jungler is. And I started Rupture, and I usually always start Rupture is because you never know when you're going to be in a level 1 fight, and this is a situation where we actually catch one of their team. I land a Rupture and we almost pick up the kill on Nunu. Nunu manages to get away, but we burn Flash, and we're changing our attention to this Shin who gets caught by our entire team. And another great thing you need to think about is Rupture not only knocks up slows, but it gives vision of where you use it. So you can use it in Fog of War and you'll get vision of it. Since we got First Blood, we're going to be invading. I'm going to speed this up a little bit. I back and I buy another ward because when you're playing AP Cho'gath, you're having to overextend by quite a bit to either get last hits because you're a melee champion, or if you're just choosing to push the lane, which is Cho'gath's strongest suit. At level 4, you can pretty much fully clear the wave with a few auto attacks, with purple spikes up, and then use your QW. Twisted Fate just got chunked down because he was trying to go in on my team. So I see this, and I'm just going to push the lane as hard as I can so he won't get as much XP and gold as me. This is like the core idea of playing an AP mid is you shove the lane, then you go and take wraiths, either your wraiths or your enemy wraiths, possibly wolves as well. And Cho'gath does this very well because of how much AoE he has and his passive ability. So this Twisted Fate missed out on quite a bit of XP. I'm already level 2, he's still level 1. I skill up Vorpal Spikes at level 2, and the main idea behind this is because it works as an auto attack modifier and gives you more AoE. And whenever the lane is pushed to the point where you'll get in a tower range if you want to get melee attacks off, that's when you want to use your Rupture at a range to pick up those few last hits in the back line. And I see Nunu on this ward, so I'm perfectly aware that he's not going to do an early gank. He's really behind anyways. I'm level 3, he's still level 1. He got denied blue buff, which means he's going to be really far behind anyways. And I'm just going to keep shoving the wave. If you notice, TF has been trying to harass me with his blue cards and wild cards, but at this point, I'm ahead, and my passive just allows me to pretty much ignore him. Whenever I can, I land harass on him. I'm level 3, and I have at level 3, that's the point in which I take Feral Scream. After level 3, I want to max Feral Scream, and the reason being is because Feral Scream, when you rank up Feral Scream, it increases in damage and CC effect. Rupture only increases in damage. the amount of CC you get from Rupture is static from levels 1 to 5. And we see TF overextending, and I wait to use my Rupture until he's already snared. And the Silence and the Ignite is just enough to kill him from 100% to 0 with Maokai's help. And the reason why I wait to use my Rupture is because it's got a 0.5 second cast time, and in that amount of time it gives the enemy time to react. So if you have a guaranteed CC effect and you're going in for a gank, allow your teammate to use the guaranteed CC effect and then follow up with a Rupture. And I pushed the lane and I stole Wraiths, which is getting Nunu even farther behind and putting me even farther ahead of TF. They're getting some action down bottom. I don't know. They're fail flashing back and forth, and one of our players ends up dying. So the lane's shoved. I'm gonna go grab our Wraith since I see our jungler is having to back, and by the time he gets over here to our side of the jungle, he'll probably start wolves, and then Wraiths will have been respawned. So you should choose to do your own Wraiths when you know it's not going to hurt your jungler. And the best times are when your jungler's ganking for another lane, and you know after that they're going to back. You'll give them plenty of time to come back to lane, or not back to lane, but back to the jungle, and their Wraiths will have respawned by then. And if you saw right there, I did a very, very good use of my Feral Scream. I got a last hit, pushed the lane, and got her ass off on TF. A lot of people don't realize the cone effect on Feral Scream is quite large. The range on it is deceitfully longer than it looks. I missed it there, but usually you can kind of get a feel of it. I'm smart casting it right now, so you can't see the range of it. But the whole idea behind smart casting is you'll be able to get your spells off faster, especially on Cho'gath. But if you're just getting used to Cho'gath, I would recommend not using smart casting because you need to get used to the range on Rupture and the cone effect on your W. But once you get used to it, smart casting it will just allow you to get the skills off faster in team fights. I'm level 6, meaning my Feast abilities is ready for use, which Feast is my extremely heavy nuke. And I see TF right here. I use Feral Scream, and I make a mistake here. It was more of a failure of miscommunication between Tarek and I. Tarek used his stun at the same time that I used my Rupture, and the problem there is I had already casted Rupture. It's got a 0.5 cast time, and so as I was casting it, he threw out the stun, and TF was walking into my Rupture, but instead TF got stunned right before TF was in my Rupture, just barely outside of it. And if we were to time it, I would have told Tarek to open up with the stun, then I would use my Rupture. But in this particular situation, I thought I thought Tarek's stun was on cooldown since we were in the middle of the fight, and it just didn't work out, and TF ended up getting away. At this point, I'm probably looking to make a play on TF. Oh yeah, on my first buyback, I bought a Cage's Lucky Pick, Doran's Ring, a Sight Ward, and a Health Potion. And the reason why I start Cage's Lucky Pick and Doran's Ring is because these two are very, very strong starting items. You only need one Doran's, and that tops off your health, gives you some extra mana regen and that extra ability power to help you off during the lane phase. And the reason why you get that Cage's Pick is because eventually I will be getting the Deathfire's Grasp. It'll be my second big item after first being the Death Cap, second being Deathfire's Grasp. And if the game goes long enough, I'll finish up with Archangels and not Archangels, Guardian's Angels. If I wish I could open the shop, that sucks. Guardian's Angels, because Guardian's Angels scales very well with Cho'gath's HP. Cho'gath's ultimate gives him health per stack if you get a last hit on a minion or even a champion. You need to time that well, because if you don't get the last hit then you're not going to get those charges, and you're not going to build up your HP. And if you're using your ultimate on minions to get HP back, then you won't be able to have it up to get the nuke off on the champion if you want to go for kills. So you have to use it very wisely. And I'm choosing to go get wraiths here. I still have my ultimate up. I'm looking to make a play on TF because I have my flash and ignite up. And for some reason TF thinks I'm running bottom. So I go ahead and just, I didn't have my Feral Scream up, and I don't know what this TF was thinking. He misjudged my burst potential. I don't know. I thought maybe he thought he could make a play on bot lane by TPing when my abilities were down, which is very possible. If I used Rupture and Silence early, he could still teleport. But he misplayed that and died very quickly to me. And I actually did not. I used Feast a little bit too early. For some reason, I thought TF would flash away, so I just bursted him down and allowed Ignite and my auto attacks to finish him up. In an ideal situation, you don't really want to use your Feast to finish someone, because if you use your Feast to finish someone, then they won't. Well, let me phrase it this way: you're never going to be able to use your Feast to finish someone if you're the only one person damaging them. And this is because I mean, it's not because you don't have enough damage. It's mostly because you have to consider the fact that you only have so much time you can nuke on someone before they flash to use this, abilities to get away or whatnot. So you pretty much need to use your Feast right away. You're in melee range when you use Feast. You can use your other skills from range, but you're going to want to open up with Rupture because it's your longest range ability, and it's the opener because it knocks them up, slows them, allows you to get closer, and you can land your Feral Scream. And maybe if that's not enough, you're going to have to blow your flash to get closer to Feast them. And let's see if I make a play soon here. Just look at that range of my W. It's crazy. He was standing right here, and I was over here. And I don't know. That's probably the longest range cone effect. And I'm going to go ahead and rewind this because I didn't realize that was going to happen. So I land a QW, and I wait for my Q to be up again, and this TF just doesn't realize that my Q's up already. I flash, Feast him, and I did not have my Ignite up, and that ends up being the reason why I trade with him. TF had just a sliver of HP after my Feast, and he lands the gold card on me. I'm stunned. I decided just to go ahead and go in and get the last auto off to kill him, instead of just backing off right away. So I'm dead. Let's see what I end up buying. I'm pretty sure I rushed just a large rod. Yeah, I just buy a straight up large rod. And this is because, for one thing, you shouldn't always just go for big items, but if you're ahead, it really helps to rush those big items. I mean, buying level 2 boots can be helpful, but if you rush those big items, then your damage is not going to taper off, and it's just only going to increase exponentially in terms of damage, because your allies and enemies are only at a certain gold and whatnot. And if you're out farming your laner, which I am by twice the CS, then that means I'm essentially going to have about twice the gold from just minions, and I've already got 3 kills, which is about, you can roughly average about 900 gold. So by the time I get my death cap, TF will not have, unless TF went defensive items, he's going to be really far behind, like say a death cap build. And it looks like he is building damage. TF is not building magic resist, which is his downfall, because if you go magic resist against AP Cho'gath, you can deny me the ability to 100% zero you, or in some cases I won't be able to kill you from like 60% because you have so much health and magic resist. And I actually get ganked, and I decide to go all in on this TF because I know I'm going to die because Nunu's permaslow. And TF goes back in to try and finish me, and I land a Feral Scream on him, and I trade 1 for 1 again. And I'm still, doing very well in CS and whatnot. It was kind of a misplay on that part because I had the ward down. I saw that Nunu was coming, but I got a little bit too greedy. I thought I could kill TF before anything else could happen, but I decided just to turn around and go all in, and I bought my blasting wand, which means I'm just that much closer to my death cap, which is my first core item. Ping's going down on Dragon by the enemy team. Shin is bot lane. He ulted bottom. Our Jax is still top. This is a situation in which it's going to be 5 versus 4 on our team, and we should not engage this. But I'm going to make a huge mistake here. I go in to try and save Maokai, and I didn't realize that Jax wasn't here. I just see a low Caitlyn and I tunnel vision, I'm pretty sure. Because I feel like I could burst someone down, and I definitely could, but in this particular situation, our Maokai is very low in HP. We just had our AD carry die. The only person who could possibly help me in this play is Tarek, and it's a 4-on-1, and they have a bunch of CC effect, taunt, slow, gold card. There's just nothing I could do. I tried to like trade 2 for 1 or something in that situation and stop them from doing Dragon, which I probably could have, but we got caught off guard. Our Maokai was forced to flash, and our AD carry got caught. So when I went in to go help, it was a little bit too late, and I got caught myself.
Blue team has slain the dragon.
So at this point, I have Feral Scream max, 3 ranks of my Rupture. I've got quite a bit of damage. You'll see your burst potential go up immensely once you have your QW maxed, and then you have your first big item, which is, for me, Death Cap in this situation. I almost always go Death Cap first, because it just gives you that much more damage. There are situations in which I will go Abyssal first if I get behind in lane. Try to make a play on TF, but TF is so scared right now because I've already killed him 3 times in lane phase from pretty much the same thing over and over again. I just land my QW, flash feast over and over again. And even if you can't 100% to zero them, it's always a good idea to harass them down when you can, because it'll dissuade them from wanting to go all in on you if a jungle gank comes, or it'll prevent them from roaming. Oh, like I was saying earlier, I go Abyssal first item, and I kill TF again. TF just when you're playing TF, you just can't get close. Let's put it that way. You can't get close to Cho'gath because you're just gonna die. But like I said earlier, I go Abyssal first item if I'm losing lane, and the reason being, you get that magic resist, you're still getting a little bit of damage, but you need, if you're behind, you need to go defensive item, because if you don't go defensive item, you're just gonna get gibbed over and over again, and it's like a reverse snowball. If you, well, it's snowball in favor of your enemy. It's not exactly a reverse snowball. That doesn't really make sense. But it's a snowball in the favor of your enemy if you get behind and you build offensive items. Because if you've died twice, let's say it was even to a jungle gank. If I were to go 0-2 in lane against TF, TF would have a lot of damage. And in this situation, I'd probably want to go Abyssal, because I would have that magic resist to help ignore his damage a little bit more. I would still have that little bit more of damage, but the primary idea is I would prevent TF from getting too far ahead of me in terms of a damage spike. So I would go that Abyssal to get that magic resist, and possibly Merc Treads if their team has a bunch of CC and I'm behind. But typically, if you don't die and you're doing well in farm, you want to rush that death cap, and because it'll increase your damage by such an immense amount. I don't even have Rupture maxed yet, and I have a death cap. That means I have it really early. And TF flashes. That Feral Scream would not have killed him. I didn't have flash, so he wouldn't have died there, because there's no way I could get close enough to feast him in time. He would have just stunned me and walked away. So since I have blue buff, I'm going to go ahead and start building my feast stacks. And it's pretty late in the game. Usually if you see someone playing like Tank Cho'gath, as soon as they hit 6, they're pretty much nomming on minions right away. But if you're playing AP Cho'gath, your damage from feast is even higher than it is normally. So the damage potential to get kills is just that much higher. I'm just going to pause it really quickly because I want to finish talking before this next fight. So once you have blue buff, if you're playing AP Cho'gath, you really want to start building your stacks if you can't make a play. In that situation, I don't have flash up, I don't have ignite up, I don't have my summoner, so while I have blue buff, which is going to lower the cooldown of it by a good amount, I want to start building those feast stacks to gain HP. And once I lose blue buff, I won't be spamming it as much because I want to have my feast up for every possible opportunity to get a kill. And in this situation, this Nunu charges me. I have vision of TF. I do not have. Do we have vision? No, we don't have vision of Caitlyn or Soraka, so we don't know bot lanes are roaming here. And they do have a Shin. So we're about to make a misplay according to just not having enough knowledge about what's going on around us. We think we can just get this Nunu, but it turns out Shin has his ult up. Nunu flash slows me. I know I'm gonna die. I know I'm gonna die. So I chose to turn around and blow my Feral Scream. And it's always a good idea. A good offense is a good defense, if that makes sense. I end up dying anyways, but in terms of my team, I knew I was going to get caught. I was getting spam slowed from Nunu, so I chose to turn around and spam my abilities. I interrupted Nunu immediately, and I dished out a bunch of damage to the enemy team, silenced them, and allowed my Jax to come in and help clean up. My team is super low. They're still in the fight, but I don't think they're going to die. No, none of them die. Jax, he goes in crazy man mode, flashes at the last second, gets away, speed it up a little bit. TF is like, you're so low, I'm gonna make a play on you, but TF is so far behind, he doesn't have any damage. Jax turns and comes back in, that exhaust, too strong. Exhaust totally saved Jax there. He would have died to the wild cards, but he didn't, because of exhaust. And I opted to buy Merc Treads as my level 2 boots, and this is a really good idea because I died because of their CC in that situation. That Nunu, the gold card, the taunt, sword boots, they're not going to help your feast because your feast is going to do full penetration anyways. It's gonna do true damage, which is why the ability is so incredibly strong. And so your Feral Scream, your Rupture, and your E ability are the only ones that'll be helped by Sork Boots. Which, they're very, very strong abilities. They shouldn't be scoffed at, but if the enemy team does have a good amount of CC, like an Amumu or something like that, it's always a good idea to go Merc Treads. Because if you live a little bit longer, that means you're going to be able to dish out that much more damage. And being crowd control means you won't be able to dish out damage. Caitlyn gets caught. I wait for the Maokai Rupture, and then immediately, not the Maokai Rupture, I wait for the Maokai Snare to use my Rupture, and Caitlyn even cleansed the Maokai Snare, but I timed the Rupture immediately after, so she still got knocked up and silenced and couldn't do anything. And the enemy team surrenders. So to do a little recap, if you're playing AP Cho'gath, you're going to want to max your Feral Scream first, and the reason being the CC duration goes from a 2-second silence to a 3-second silence over the course of rank 1 to rank 5, and the damage increases. But if you're ranking up Rupture, it only increases in damage. You want one rank of Vorpal Spikes early game because it's essentially an auto attack modifier. You're going to get the flat 20 plus a 0.3 AP ratio on with your ability power in addition to that flat 20 amount. So it's going to help you push the lane that much faster, get more last hits, harass that much more. And during the lane phase, you can have your Vorpal Spikes harassing the enemy AP without even being close to them because it shoots out spikes behind the target. And you're going to want to be careful when you use your Feast, because if you're using it on minions, then that means you won't be able to have it up to get kills on champions. So you're going to want to use that very, very wisely. And the good indication is if you don't have your flash up and you don't have your ignite up, and you have blue buff. That's when you want to start building your stacks, ideally. Okay, well thanks for watching, guys. I'm Valkrin, and this is my AP Cho'gath guide.